Hello and welcome to session 3 of Mage, Powered by the Dark. This is a hack from a few years ago, written by Holden Shearer, and it is a hack of Mage the Ascension, powered by the Apocalypse. And we're in sort of the mid range of the sessions here. Some significant things happened last time, which I'll go over in just a moment. This session is part of the Gauntlet Hangouts. The Gauntlet is an online gaming club. You can find out more about it at gauntlet-rpg.com. We have a gaming calendar. We have a Patreon that supports that calendar. People who back that can get access to our monthly magazine. At a certain level, you can get priority couple-day RSVP access to sign up for events. We also have a program for people who have financial hardship or members of marginalized groups can reach out to us and we'll get you set up with the advanced RSVP for that, at no cost. So reach out to us. We're at gauntlet-rpg.com, which has lots and lots of details there. Though I will say we need to reorganize that site at some point because it's kind of a mess of information design. But that's neither here nor there. So last time, our group entered into a place that was being called the Crucible. It had AstroTurf on the outside and a chain link fence, and it was a giant log cabin. And when they entered into it, they realized that A, there were bodies buried under the AstroTurf, and B, that all of this was some kind of illusion slash defense attempting to keep up protection for what was actually inside.
Yeah, just make everything look real natural.
Yeah, and it was very clearly out of order. So when the group finally were able to enter in, they found that this, in fact, is a chantry of some kind that had been thrown out of the world, had been essentially tossed kind of into the horizon realms, but had for some reason returned. They met several of the people who were there, including the person who first met them is a man named December, who seemed to maybe be a little bit in charge, but more that this person named March, she seems to be more in charge. The one who definitely is not in charge is Fabrizio, who seems very, very kind of confounded by the situation so far and is trying to keep up with it, and was a little shocked to see people walking around. There were a couple other people that we didn't really delve into, August and June, but we did meet Thursday, who seemed very severe and very uptight. And later on, it was discovered that, in fact, Thursday is a brainwashed killing android from the technocracy, a hit mark. And they realized that when they saw another one of Thursday outside of the building, behaving in a very strange way, and the group kind of rushed into the grounds itself, and that stopped the hit mark. The hit mark didn't come in, didn't go through the barriers, it fell back. And that's sort of where we are taking up now is in the few hours after that. So let me ask you, Silas, if Silas came upon a chantry, an old magical school, things like that, lost, thrown outside of time, and you were there, and there were very few people there, but you could have a chance to wander around, and maybe some people didn't kind of pay attention to you and gave you your free reign, what would you do?
I think the probably the first thing you do, like after getting drug in and people are like saying crazy things about dragons and hit marks and killer robots, and it's all very upsetting. But the first opportunity I would get, I would grab Malachi by the arm and say, Malachi, I need to talk to you in private. There's something very important. I need to tell you.
I look over at Clay, who's the only one with us, I think.
Well, I mean, if it's just us, then Clay there.
Yeah, I
too.
think
I'm talking
Fabrizio
about
ran
as
off,
we're
didn't
in
he?
the middle of all of the craziness or whatever.
Pull away from the other members of the chantry who are here, or anybody that's around. Okay.
Yeah. What's the matter?
Before we go any further with these people, I think you should be aware. This building, I think this entire lot has actually been shifted through time.
Yeah, Silas, we might need to...
No. I mean, like, years through time.
Yeah, 9.
Well, it's about 8 and 3. How did you... Wait a minute.
We had a talk with them.
It took me like an hour and a half to nail down the temporal dimensions of this lot.
We asked them what year they thought it was.
Damn it. Fine, whatever.
That hit mark back there. And is Thursday out here? Do we see him anywhere around?
As you may recall, Thursday went off with March.
Right.
And there's clearly some like checking of the defenses and securing and so on. I think the only person who is kind of hung around with you is Fabrizio, as both June and August have also gone off apparently to finish out whatever they were working on before there's some discussion about what to do next.
And I think Fabrizio was running off to tell everybody that we had a hit mark outside, right?
I think Fabrizio is you, because you told him hit mark, but you didn't say anything about it looking like Thursday, right?
Well, he went to the fence and looked.
Oh, that's right.
And he said, "Don't tell him.
That's right.
It should work, but don't try it."
So he would have gone to talk. So you three would be alone at that point. Let me kind of roll back.
I just wanted you to be aware, before we went any further, that there was massive time magics.
That was really impressive, though. You figured it out the hard way.
Oh, well, now you're just saying it.
No, I'm not. I mean, it's really easy to ask someone, but you managed to figure it out with the long division and the magic-y theory and everything. That's awesome.
Yeah, and I mean, it's permanent marker, so they're going to have a hard time getting it off the top of the limo.
To fill you in quick before any of them get back here, and I'll kind of motion Clay over. They have a dragon engine here. That is, Clay, what did it sound like it was to you?
Well, not something too pleasant, and I'm trying to keep it secret. I mean, something says dragon. I can only make some guesses.
And it seems like it killed the guy who came investigating before.
So is it a dragon?
It didn't seem that way, did it, Clay? It seemed like it's some ancient artifact. They're not sure where it comes from, if it's, they one of the suggestions was native dream speakers, or hell, they even said it could be from the craft masters of old. They don't know what it is, but it's powerful. It's probably what skipped them through time.
They also mentioned that our companion that we're searching for was atomized after he passed on.
It's a shame. I'm sure they wanted us to carry something back. Lighter this way, though.
Yeah. And I guess we're taking them back. They're going to try and phase up, and they were a school. taught mages, sounded like hermetics and chorus mostly, but like a magical primary school. They thought we might be teachers or students when we showed up.
Are we playing students?
No, we told them the truth.
Oh, we're teachers.
We told them that they were off in time. We told them about the war and that it was over, but we didn't know what happened. And honestly, they may have a better perspective than we do.
Okay, so all we have to deal with is the log cabin and the angry robot man?
I guess they're going to try and link the place up to time, and then we can report back if we can get past evil robot man. They said there was a tech installation near them back wherever they were originally.
They a couple times mentioned something called convergent dynamics.
You ever heard of them?
No. They've mentioned that a couple of times, and they've mentioned someone named Copernicus.
I've heard of him.
So it is the thing is now you're kind of left alone again. Big place. They've headed off to their different areas. Fabrizio has clearly gone off to talk to someone. Clay, what are you thinking? What's your emotional state right now, or what do you want to do?
Yeah, good question. So we were really here to figure out what happened to Shiloh. Although this is kind of a whole other thing that we could get information about. So, I mean, I think he's pretty down to just reconnoiter, get as much info on these people as possible.
So kind of start moseying around?
Yeah, he might say something similar to that. Just, since, well, we can't really collect Shiloh's atoms like you were saying. And, I mean, we don't have any escorts here. I mean, might as well find out what we can find out, right? Right, boys?
Seems like a good idea. Should we split up or stick together?
Sorry.
Well, I mean, it seems like a really big log cabin.
Well, once you get through, and I'll kind of move us over to where it opens up and we see the interior.
It still seems like a large log cabin. Might take a while to search altogether.
Then splitting up?
I mean, it's worse that could happen. You said they're teachers?
They're supposed to set the defense for us.
Cool, so don't set off the defenses and get atomized.
Oh, little coffee boy did tell us too that they hire phantoms that go about here and there.
Like ghosts?
So, that's a good question. Phantoms, at least. Sounds cheaper than interns, but I don't know if they're a danger or not.
So what would you do to tell?
If they're ghosts, you mean?
Clay, what do you have that you would use to? Do you have any kind of magic you think you would use to identify that, or do you think we're just doing this as a kind of an epiphany roll?
Oh, interesting. Yeah, let me see. Yeah, I think I said last time I'm so bad at I want to use this magic, but I'm trying to think of ways to use it. Let's see. I don't. Oh, What about sense decay? So it says can immediately discern the weakness in things, could as example objects, beings, or ideas. Maybe will that be something?
Yeah, let's do that, and let's go ahead and have that be the fiction that you're using. Or actually, let's actually do a spell roll. I like the idea of that. So this is coincidental. This is you reading the situation in this area. Is that your affinity sphere?
No.
What tool are you using to do this magic?
Yeah, it's fascinating. I don't think I've done a spell yet. Okay. So one of mine is group right. So maybe I'll be like, just hold my hands out, just like, can you two help me out for a second? Just like, as in, like, hold my hands.
Sure. Yep. Should we chant anything?
Oh, it couldn't hurt.
So using a personal tool gives you a +1. You roll with a base +1. This area is still withholding its energy a little bit, so that's a -1 on that. Let's have you roll with a +1 on the magic.
Yeah. Oh, okay. So that gives me a 10.
That gives you a 10. So I think you will tell that they definitely have sort of pattern ghosts here. You have the sense that maybe they used to be people that were alive, but the sort of the automated systems of the school have kind of replaced them with facsimiles, simulacra, but they're the magic of them is kind of bound around their spirits. So they've still kind of got their souls held here. And it definitely feels to you that this isn't something that any of these school people are doing, but something that has happened automated by the school itself, providing the staff and the care. And you have a sense that maybe the people who are here don't have a good sense of that, or maybe something has changed.
Okay, cool. I like that. I'm thinking the way this like manifests. It's got to be like overly dramatic. So I'm thinking just one of these, like, if you've seen any kind of cheesy like 80s movie about a seance, I think all of her hair like gets blown up, which I think looking at the pictures probably especially interesting for Silas.
Silas has been chanting like pig Latin versions of or lyrics of "We didn't start the fire" this whole time because it might help. You don't know.
Perfect. I think Clay's just eyes like glow, but in like that almost like day glow, like 80s movie style, And then he just kind of says that information that you just gave us pretty much. And then, gasps and everything calms back down. It's just like, oh, well, I wasn't too far off when I thought about interns, I guess.
Oh my God, that was awesome. Do your eyes do that every time?
Listen, if you keep complimenting my eyes, I'm going to have to, well, never mind. But
well, no, I'm just
now
saying,
knowing that.
You had a whole wind machine going. It was beautiful, like a sort of cinematic moment just hanging there. And did you do something?
And I just think he smiles coyly, just like, well, I do know about these ghosts now, so.
Oh, right.
Yeah, that's I can't really say that's the nicest way to get servitors now, is it? But no offense, and I'll kind of look over towards our disembodied comrade. The chorister's always been a little loose with what they consider the afterlife, so.
Well, and you don't know what the employment contracts around here look like. Maybe they're very well compensated.
That sounds like they're medics.
So Dr. Malachi, what are you up to? What's your, do you want to sit and wait? Do you want to look around? Are you going to check on what's going on with this hit mark?
I don't think I can help. And if we're talking about splitting up, I'm all for that. But I've taken us back to the gate, to kind of look in at the thing. But I will move over to where I can try and get a look out the fence. Do I see that hit mark still out there?
It is still there. Why don't you? Let's have you make have an epiphany. It's a dynamic move. You're kind of studying the situation, right?
Mm-hmm. Do you have the roller linked in this?
Yeah, it is. Let me grab it. Naturally noble seal. Copy. Over here. Paste. There you go.
All right. Rolling, and I am +1. And that is, oh, wow, it actually helped me that time when it changed. I got an 8.
Got an 8. Boy, that hit mark looks confused. Like you're used to the very determined, specific, dun 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 dun, Terminator directness to these things. It's staying there watching, and then it kind of almost like paces down a ways, and then goes back to the position where it was, and then paces off another ways and comes back.
Okay, so I know this isn't the other side of the cabin is a step, but I know that here at the fence it is the structure.
That's the real world out there,
right? But on our side, it's an illusion set up. But is it inside the confines of their weird? We felt like we moved across a border when we came in.
And that was mostly when you came through the fence. That was definitely the sense that you have. The only thing you saw in the regions around was that vehicle vanishing.
Yeah.
You almost think that there may be pockets of sort of loose parts of the gauntlet, the passage through to the horizons, that what may have happened is that vehicle probably fell through.
So this move was pretty big and has disrupted.
Yeah.
Okay.
Pretty big and rough.
But by all looks, it seems like that mark is fooled by what's inside of here, or at least maybe can't even perceive. Maybe we're still so far off that it isn't registering. That's what it feels like to me.
That is one way to read the vague information that I gave you.
All right.
There are other ways, but that is one way to read it.
I think that is the one that Malachi has read it.
Okay.
And so it looks like the mark is stuck outside the border. So, well, let's look around.
Silas, what are you up to?
Well, people talked about a dragon engine and a giant ritual magic that dragged this entire campus years through time, and I mean, I'm not gonna look for that.
Okay. So you're gonna kind of move around. Are you trying to be stealthy, or are you more just kind of walking around very openly?
I don't think he's great at being stealthy. I mean, he's pulling, reaching into random pockets in his jacket and pulling out different pieces of colored glass. I think bits of stained glass windows where he's just popped out random shapes. They're perfectly smooth at the edges, none of them have been broken out. And he'll like slice a finger on the edge of one and sort of draw a symbol on the glass and a symbol on his forehead and hold it up to the light and consider things from different angles and walk 20 feet that way and pull out another piece of glass and do it again. Oh, that's very interesting. Around to the other side of the building, that sort of thing.
So is this a particular spell effect, or we think we're just kind of using the fiction of your magic to do the kind of the study / epiphany role?
I have time sense, I have past future sight, I have immediate spatial perceptions from correspondence. I don't have anything spirit related, but yeah, I'd like to, at the very worst, learn something about this time magic, and at the very best, find the source of all of it and get to poke at that.
Absolutely. So is time your affinity sphere?
It is.
And what tool are you using? These pieces of glass?
Artwork and sacred symbology.
So that's would be a +3, and then with the state itself kind of fighting back against you, it becomes a +2. Are you good with that?
Yeah, I think that sounds good.
Then let's have you roll with that.
Steal these teal ones. All right, well, even though that die still sucks, that's a 7.
That is a 7. 10 years have passed at this place. This place, the age, like you like reach back and you feel like the point at which it got pulled out, and the present time, and you kind of feel that flow, and that's 10 years. So you actually suspect that the time magic is less about pulling things out of the time and so on, but probably maybe even Groundhog Daying the staff.
Ooh.
That they may not be aware of the passage of time. And this fits with what you'll recall, you kind of overheard Malachi talking to them, is that they were very vague about dates,
So
about what month it was and time and so on. Yeah.
Looping and recycling this whole time until finally this time it's sort of like synced back up and they're moving forward normally again.
That does, well, at least for the moment.
How does that like the edges of that time magic seem? Does it seem like it's integrating with real reality around it, or is there still some sort of like disconnect going on there?
Wow, you just what 7 and 9 is just like it feels vague and uncertain, and you're not sure where the edge ends and the world begins.
I mean, I'm obviously going to have to follow the sense of this magic deeper into the heart of the ritual. I can't get good readings from out here on the grounds.
Absolutely, you should absolutely try to wander to the heart of this place.
Yeah, that's.
Clay, Silas kind of walks off by himself. Malachi is still kind of clearly the hit mark is the primary thing on Dr. Rogers' agenda right now. What are you doing?
Yeah, so I think, like I was saying before, his main thing is just to get general information. And I think the best, or at least most fun way to do that is to go track down Fabrizio.
Okay. So you will walk. One of the things is you kind of start to walk again. Remember these 4 buildings kind of all in a 4 square, and then the paths running between them. As you kind of move into a building, you're again surprised how big these are. You will move and kind of trying to see where people are. And I think you'll move into like a large hall of the building you are at. And as you come in, you will see there's like big stone, old Ivy League, old stone flooring here and stone steps and things. It's very supposed to be ostentatious and so on. But you will see that there is a brazier set up in that room. And as you walk in, it comes to life, like the fire on it comes to life, and it kind of dances purple and red over there as you come in.
And no one else is here, right?
Yeah, it's an empty hall, just you.
Yes. So he'll go over and inspect that, just like, ooh, that's pretty.
And when you move over to it, you'll see it kind of flares up, and you will see kind of flash for a bit. You'll see a set of 7 faces, like in different, like you get a sense that, okay, so that person, you see one person is like young person who's clearly, just for a second, you see that they're looking around furtively as maybe they stuff something into a jacket. Another person you see is they're behind some kind of business and they're throwing up. You see another person who is, they're in a room and they're kind of scribbling furiously on paper, and you get about 7 of these different images that just sear into your mind. Like when you kind of think of them, you get an immediate picture of that person, like the face sticks with you, and then the fire goes and it's gone.
And that was none of the other staff that we had seen before, right?
No, mostly young people.
Students, he thinks.
The thing that strikes you is none of these people, like it all looks like very real world stuff. Like maybe the sense that the person who was throwing about behind the business, like they were behind a Starbucks.
And all like modern clothing and everything.
Yeah.
Fascinating.
What do you want to do?
Yeah, good question. So, I don't know if there's a move attached to this, but is there any kind of way that I can like figure out how this item works or anything?
Sure. Do you have any kind of magic that would read it, or do you want to just do this as an epiphany?
I probably don't have any magic related to that.
Okay.
Unless I want to mess it up with that new one, which I don't. So, yeah, I'll try an epiphany.
Okay, let's have you roll dynamic.
How am I at that? Oh. So +0 for me, which is 7. Oh no, it is a 6. Oh no.
It is a 6. So I think
these dice are such a roller coaster because they keep changing,
Still, I have a person who's working on getting another instance set up, but they are still working on that. So I think that number 1, the storm gathers. Number 2, I think as you're kind of concentrating on that, you will look at it and you're like, this is clearly like some kind of alert or finder for mages, for the awakened, probably in this city. Like you coming over may have activated that with something that hasn't been activated for 10 years. And it's at that moment that you realize that someone is looking through this device at you. Someone from a distance away. You can feel that connection, that correspondence magic that someone has reached out and is looking through this. Like it turning on alerted them, and they're kind of pushing back on that right now. And it's a cold steel feeling that you get when they do that. We'll come back to you.
Mm-hmm.
Dr. Malachi, what's next? You've kind of, have you set your mind at ease about the hit mark yet?
That never can really happen. And in fact, I think I went back and it seems calm. We could, and people had walked off, but
Oh yeah, they've headed in their own separate ways. You're by yourself now.
But I just can't. So I think I'm kind of pacing and making myself go and look around. And what I'd like to do is, as I've been watching, and you kind of describe him, he'll move up and then he'll move somewhere else, and that's been what I've seen.
Mm-hmm.
I'm looking at, where the van was, where he's moving, his sort of all that's going on. And I'm going to, or what I'd like to do, is since fate and fortune off of entropy, I want to I can judge odds and likelihoods and predict the outcome of random events by sensing currents of destiny and the balance of probability.
Yeah, that seems like perfect thing to do here.
Okay, cool. So I think I'm moving back and forth with this, and let's look to see what I can use with this. I don't know if I think that's more of a portal than a crossroads coming through the thing. So I think probably we're seeing me as I'm doing this. I'm dancing dice across my fingers.
Yep.
And as this sort of culminates, I'll cast the die.
Okay. Now, entropy is your affinity sphere.
It is.
You are using your personal tool, so that's a +3. -1 is a +2, unless there's something else you have that you think you can bring to bear.
I don't think I can. So
Okay.
I guess I could bring time. I'm willing to spend some time.
So each additional effect, does that give you an additional special modifiers? Time measures see through 5 years or more. Now, I think it'll still be just a +2.
Gotcha. Okay. All right. So rolling with +2. Woo! I got an 11.
Got an 11. And what is it that you want to have happen?
I am wanting to predict I've got this impression that when this came in, it's disrupted some stuff. And I'm watching this hit mark I want to predict if he's going to come across or if he's going to stay out is really the primary thing I'm trying to predict.
So hit marks, work on programming. But there's often, a connection to communication that kind of drives them. The thing that you will realize is that whatever that connection and the programming, that's been severed for this thing. It's still dangerous and probably hostile, but the problem is that whatever orders or directions it's supposed to be getting clearly are getting disrupted or reset. There's a certain amount of chaos that's going on around it. That's why it's wandering there, because it doesn't have an obvious target, because it clearly actually can't communicate with its masters.
It must have gotten brought with the jump. And because I can't believe that it wouldn't be able to manage to connect back just from distance.
Mm-hmm.
This is probably time as well. So that's very interesting.
Silas, while Dr. Malachi is considering that, and Clay is headed off to wander the halls of the Crucible. What are you doing now that you've read a little bit of the time here?
Also, I've got this like pulsing sense, I think, in the back of my head and sort of in my bones of like this weird time magic thread that I'm following. And so, I mean, it's a simple enough job just to follow it into the building, into the heart of where it's coming from. The difficult part is all of it's the people that have ideas about what it's for and who should and shouldn't be there and where you are and aren't allowed to be and things like that. So I think he's picked up a handy trick of, it's the first time around a corner into a hallway that you can't see that's dangerous. The second time is fine. You already know what's there.
Mm-hmm.
So he just has to live the rerun. So he's got sort of a vision into 30 seconds or so into the future, just to give an idea of what's coming so they can't get caught by surprise. I think this is like an insanely complicated cat's cradle that he's playing with himself. He's got like the string wound from finger to finger in these strange, changing, like tessellating paisley sort of patterns.
I think this is going to be a more challenging thing to do because you have a number of targets and space that you need to operate in here. Does that seem right?
Mm-hmm.
And let's see what it says with the multiple targets. So just another -1. So you'd be rolling that at just a +1. Doesn't seem too bad. Seems pretty good.
Yeah, so I mean, it's not as good as my other roll.
Yeah.
I don't know if you remember, but that one was a +2.
That one was a +2, but this one is a +1.
Mm.
This is half as much.
Oh, come on. Well, that's a 5.
That is a 5.
I mean, it was a 7 for a minute there, but then it was a 5.
So go ahead and hit the Storm Gathers.
Ooh, and I get XP, right?
Yeah. And there is that moment when you feel that, you're kind of doing that time and kind of walking through here and you're kind of playing with that when you haven't, like you're in a building, suddenly you're aware of the building and you're aware of the magical engine and energies that are in this building, that are the defenses of it, that have been moving, and now you can hear them, and you hear this grinding as the building becomes aware of you.
That's upsetting because my general move is like duck around a corner or go through a doorway, but when the corner and the doorway are also looking at you, that is it's not so useful.
I think there is a moment when you go to kind of look ahead, and as you do, like, time slows down for you. It slows and you see yourself moving ahead, and then you're casting and there's like another double of yourself, like you can see a looping of it, and you kind of let go of the thread of that spell, and you'll feel that pressure subside.
I think he hears just like a crunch from his pocket, and one of the pieces of glass that he'd been using is like fractured along the symbol lines that he'd drawn on it.
You know how they used to say cigarettes take X minutes of your life off?
Mm-hmm.
That's what you just lost, a few minutes.
Gulp.
Let's come back to Clay. Still looking for Fabrizio, heading back to your friends, checking out this thing?
Yeah, I think so that like presence was kind of looking back at me, I could feel.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I think especially if it feels like you described as like cold and I don't know if you said dark, but like maybe not quite malevolent, but not good at least.
Not good.
Yeah, I think he kind of just instinctually just like he just like pushes that thing over, and then
okay.
yeah, and just like all right, and just kind of gets out of there, hopefully.
Oh yeah, and you kind of quickly move to the next room and so on, and you'll hear footsteps coming, and because that clattered and that sound
Mhm.
carried, and you'll see Fabrizio going, "Oh, are you okay? I heard something. Are you okay?"
Oh, whew, Fabrizio, I was actually looking for you. That thing over there just lit up, and well, it didn't feel right to me.
It lit up.
Oh yeah, beautiful at first. To be honest, it was red and purple, and showed me all kinds of things, but it startled me.
Oh, she says,
Didn't mean to start.
I,
Didn't mean to startle you too.
oh no. I kind of goes back with you and goes, well, that's one of the things for the hermetics. We'll have to ask the masters. I've never seen it light up.
Well, many people light up when I walk in the room, but never the furniture.
Uh, the, you see, he's like trying to figure out whether you're originally saying that it lit up was right, and he's like trying to parse the. He's like, well, let's go find your companions, and maybe we can have a conversation. December is going to come down to chat with everyone about what's going on.
Oh, well, sure. I think they're out doing their own thing, but I'm sure we can wrangle them pretty easily.
Okay. Um, after you.
Sure. Yeah. I guess I assume we discuss where we were going or what we were doing. So I think he's going to as he's kind of leading Fabrizio back, go out of his way to kind of stall to give them as much time to do whatever they're doing, just in case. Oh, maybe
Yeah.
he'll say, "Oh, Fabrizio, these halls are so beautiful. It reminds me of my time in college." Just kidding. I did not. I dropped out very early. But
Oh, that's yeah. It's never too late to go back.
oh well. I was hoping maybe you could, since you're pretty familiar with this, why don't you? Is there any kind of tour that you give the new people, or?
Well, they used to have students do the tour, but I can show you. I can show you my lab.
Well, that
It's in
sounds
in
fascinating.
this building. If you want to see.
I would love nothing more.
Oh, and he'll walk you up these stone steps. Again, lots of empty rooms here. But he'll go up to this third floor, and you very clearly have the sense that this is the floor where maybe the adjuncts and associate professors have their labs. This is not where the people who have tenure would have
Mhm.
their fine labs with interns and teaching assistants and so on. But he will go into this lab, and it is, you kind of have to bite your tongue because it is as sons of the ether a place as you've ever seen. It is steampunk cosplay, magical facility, brass tubing, gears, all of that kind of thing. Done very strikingly. The thing that will strike you, though, very much a kind of a sort of Spanish twist to the design and so on. It's not. It's kind of got some add-ons, and the color lines and so on are done a little bit differently. But he's got the goggles that are there, and there's over on the side there's a top hat, of course, and all the stuff, and he's like, I'm working on some particular etheric manipulators right now, essentially gloves for reaching out into the horizon realm. And he begins to tell you he's very excited about it. He's very interested in it. It is, however, incredibly boring. Even his excitement doesn't forestall the fact that it's kind of boring. So how do you react to that?
Yeah, I think Clay shows like polite interest in it, and just kind of like goes and touches random things. Just like, oh, these are all. Oh, I love the design there, and this thing over here. Oh, I've never seen one of these electric spheres before outside of Spencer's. This is great. Oh, and this over here, so cool. Um, you know, I just thought these Sons of Either were just cosplayers or something, but no, this actually seems like you have something going.
And you see he kind of shuts this cabinet, and you see some corsets and stuff in there. He shuts that. No, we're more than that. Certainly, it is, it's become just an aesthetic in some ways for some people, but it is larger than that. Actually, I believe that the move for cosplay and the rise of steampunk as an aesthetic is a reflection of our ability to impose the paradigm in an unusual way on the world.
Well, that's the most generous thing I've ever heard about them. I love that.
Oh, thank you. Seems very proud. Doesn't quite parse it all, but yes, he seems very excited by that. Let's cut to back to Dr. Rogers.
Alrighty. With this in mind, what I've learned, and it's chain link fence, so I can walk along it. There's just a gap in it that we came through. So
you hear a blink.
Huh?
You hear a blink, and you look down and you realize that your phone has bars now.
They said they were trying to get us in. Does that feel like what this is, or did I walk somewhere different?
No, you kind of walk back a ways from where you were at, and no, now you've got bars now.
I may need to act quickly. This could be bad. All right. I'm going to look up. I'm guessing there's power lines above me.
Yeah. Power lines.
Nothing connecting into here, though.
Yeah, we've established that. There were no lines going in, but there's definitely street power lines.
All right. I'm going to move to as far over along the fence to where the street is and where I can see some of these power lines. Are there a point where some of them are crossing or
that
like
makes sense.
This way, that way?
Absolutely.
All right. I'm going to try to convert my phone signal to send it into one of those electric lines.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm going to try and bounce it off of there towards that hit mark. As I type in, I'm attempting to type in whatever its code it's used to receiving information is. So maybe a conjunctional entropy forces.
Yeah, that does seem like that's the way to read that. So let's look at what this is. Now, this is outside the bounds of this school. What you're doing. Now, there are some sleepers around, but they're not necessarily going to see this, so I think this is still coincidental.
Well, that's good.
You are using your affinity sphere.
I am.
I'll have you tell me about the tool. I assume you're going to spend some time preparing this.
I will spend some time, and the tool is the crossing of those there. I have crossroads as one of my personal things.
1, 2, 3. So we're at 4 minus 1 for the area. And let's see. I think this is outlandish.
Yeah, I don't blame you.
So let's go with just a +1.
+1. Oh, goodness. Here we go. Oh, it even got better. That's an 11.
So what does that look like? What do we see on screen that tells us about what you're doing?
I think we see me with my phone, and as I'm looking up towards where those power lines are connecting, and the hit mark is wandering there up the alley of the street. And as I'm focusing, up on the screen of my phone comes this just like you know, the hacker movie sort of thing of like a set of lines where you're supposed to put in numbers, and the numbers are rolled, yeah. And I begin just typing as quickly and into it, and then and they all connect in.
And I think you will get that. I mean, it's only because it's so hard cut off from anything that it can take this code. You know that you can't do anything complicated with the syntax here. You've got to do the most simple kind of thing.
Unit state designation.
Patrol 27.
Unit state primary goal.
Pursue perimeter, eliminate crucible staff, members, adjuncts, report.
Unit change goals. Standby mode.
And you think you go with the most simple thing, that standby mode does work. And you have the feeling that anything more complicated would have been, but it does the thing where it kind of goes into standby mode, which is to look like a normal person, just kind of hanging around. Suddenly, the face kind of shifts, and it just kind of stands there like a homeless person who's a little bit schizophrenic, who's kind of looking around, and it goes into full standby.
Oh. And holding that screen, I'll just kind of click the button on the side so it goes dark, and I'll exhale deeply.
Silas, you had a meeting in the mines with the building. What's your next step?
Well, I mean, obviously the problem here is evil building, and I mean, evil building, it's not a small problem, it's a building size problem.
Exactly.
So it's something that we really need to work on, but it's not, it's an understandably evil building. Obviously, it's all tied up in where it was stuck in the past for so long, and now it's trying to fit itself into the present, and all of everything is just out of whack and it's wrong. So I've got to help bring the building into the present and into the shape that it needs to be in to properly fit into things. So I think Silas just goes on sort of a spree of rearranging furniture and artwork and bookcases and feng shui and trying to figure out the alignment of everything of how it should be now to better fit into where the timeline has progressed to.
And I think as you were doing that, as you're kind of moving things around and looking, I think you'll hear, what exactly are you doing?
Oh, I'm moving the building into a more correct alignment.
And you look over and you see this woman. She's got kind of this olive drab jacket on, these big glasses, and she says, I don't think you should do that.
No. You see, it's fairly obvious. The light from the window is coming in this way, and then all of the energy is just getting held up in this whole book nook corner shelving unit thing. This needs to be spread out more and put in sort of a concentric diagonal pattern.
She goes, this isn't your place. This isn't your building. This isn't your house. This is our house.
Well, maybe. Yes, but the house, unfortunately, it's not my place, but it is my time, and I'm trying to help your place fit together in better with my time.
She goes, please don't do that.
Well, okay, fine. I will consider not rearranging the bookshelves for a moment. If you'll please kindly talk to the building and tell it to stop glaring at me.
It doesn't quite work like that. Julian left a lot of things delicate in operation, and so we're still working that out. And I know that I'm sorry. I know that March is trying to get things in order. So maybe while she's doing that, you can wait, and or maybe you can speak with her. Maybe you can to talk with her about that, and the two of you can figure out exactly how to do that, or at least she can tell you what is going on with that.
All right, yes. March, you said, yes, take me to her. I have some ideas I want to run by her about how we can rearrange this floor, and then I'll obviously need to see any other floors and get a more general idea of the layout, how it needs to be shifted. We might need to knock down a couple of walls, but I don't think it'll be very many.
She looks at you very seriously, and she goes, well, that's not going to happen. We should get you and your companions back together so that we can talk about what's going on.
Saying it's like a square peg round hole sort of situation. If you try and fit it into a place where it's not going to go, the whole thing's just going to explode.
Believe me, I'm very familiar with that sort of analogy. So I'm going to ask you again if we could perhaps go and find the rest of your companions here. I'm sure if we walk this way, we'll find them.
Well, no, you said March. We were going to go find March, right? Talk to her?
No, we're going to find your friends first now.
I don't think, and it's just, as he's like starting to follow her down the hallway, he does reach back behind him into the room and move a coat rack about 3 feet to the left.
She goes, I want you to understand that this system is very delicately set up right now. And you should at least have the courtesy to give us a chance to get things set. And I say that not as a person who I'm not trying to be rude, but this place will kill people if it's not handled right.
I realize that. That's what I'm trying to help with. It's very out of sorts, and I'm trying to make things better.
Well, you won't take it amiss if I say you wandering in off the street and not being familiar with this place makes me more than a little reluctant to have you jimmying around in things. I mean, when you just kind of walk in and start messing with things, you remind me of other people. And she says, here's Fabrizio's lab.
Messing?
And Clay, you'll hear this knock at the door, and the door will open before Fabrizio can kind of turn around and say, come in. And you see that blonde young woman who you saw before. And she says, Fabrizio and Clay, was it?
Clay, please explain to this woman whose name I haven't asked that I am not messing around here.
Well, I wouldn't put it past you.
He's like,
this is impossible.
She goes,
and then maybe I'll go over to that woman, just like, oh, I'm just kidding. He's harmless.
I don't think anyone here is harmless at this point, given how dangerous the situation is.
Are we in danger, ma'am?
Yes, I think we are. I think we are constantly in danger and a little bit closer to death, but this place is even faster on that downslope.
The building is angry, and she seems to think it might be doing something about it soon.
No. What I am saying is, and she clearly gets angry, and you hear her voice get quieter and quieter. She says, what I am saying is that March is working on this, and you need to give her time.
Just a little louder.
To get the time to get the.
Just if you could. I'm sorry.
Time to get things set. So, rather than hurrying along, give us just a little bit. Give us a chance to get things correct, and then certainly we will look to you and yours. Please.
Well, of course. And Miss, I mean, we're here. We're from the far future. In fact, if there's anything that we can help with, don't hesitate.
And Ryu's just like, we should go and find Dr. Malachi. Let's do that thing. How does that sound, everybody? That sounds. And then we'll go down back down to the lounge, and maybe they've put out supper, and we can have some supper. Okay, I'm going. And he will walk out like, okay, everybody, let's go, and I'll be happy and no one mad at each other.
Glaring at the woman as I slowly walk out of the room.
Woman glares at you as you slowly walk out of the room. And Fabrice is like, okay, here we go. Just going down there. We'll walk this way. Starting to do like the little tour guide thing. He will kind of look to you. Everything cool, Clay? Everything good?
Oh, absolutely. Lead the way. And
yes.
Yeah, I think he'll do the arm lock thing again.
Okay. Yes. Can throw him off balance. He has to kind of shift around and get his footing there, but he will go.
I'm not going to lie. I do wish you brought one of those top hats, but can't get everything I want.
There's a moment where he's like, well, I could go back. And then Dr. Rogers, you come back towards the building, and by a miraculous coincidence, your paths will cross with Fabrizio, Clay, Silas, and this other woman.
I have managed to neutralize the hit mark for now.
Good. We found out that the building's angry, and we're going to talk to March to fix it.
Fabrizio says, the hit mark outside.
Yes, of course, the one outside.
Okay.
But it seemed like I'm guessing the place is getting attuned to the time.
Well, no, that's the problem. It's not. It's just stuck, and it's fast, and it's very angry about it. I don't blame it. It's got to be very irritating.
What? It's
the building.
But
square peg, round hole. I've explained all of this already.
But I got bars.
What?
My phone got bars inside here.
Oh, okay, that's good.
What Fabrizio goes, wow, that's a very nice phone.
Which means the place is getting synced up somehow. We didn't have them before.
Yeah. Oh, good. Well, that's good. Yes.
Well, it was nearly the death of us all, because I think the hit mark, once we get synced up, would have come running in and tried to kill us.
Well, it's good you did that then.
Well, it's just a thing. Stopping a hit mark.
Exactly. And all of that is going on, and she didn't want me to move the hat rack.
The what, huh?
The hat rack is just a simple...
Excuse me, ma'am, what?
I'm sorry, there's street noise?
The hat rack is just a small sign of the larger problem.
Nope, I'm getting nothing. What did she say?
I think she's saying that the hat rack is just is incidental. Look. Oh, look, tamales. Oh, they made tamales. Let's come. Let's say they're really good. It's tasty.
Like
oh, let's come. Let's sit down and eat. Is everyone? Sit down. Let's all have this. This is we don't have Taco Tuesday. We have Tamale Tuesday. I don't know if it's Tuesday yet.
Better.
Is it Tuesday?
No.
Oh,
pretty sure it's March.
And you'll hear, did someone say my name?
Perfect. Yes, I have been waiting to talk to you. Hello, my name is Silas. Your building is angry.
Yes, it is. This woman comes in, older. She's the same severe woman you saw before. She comes in and she says, why don't all of you sit down and let's have a chat here.
I neutralized your hit mark outside. For now.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
So, we need to have a conversation about what is happening here at the building, and what is going on. So, as we told you before, and she sits down, she says, defenses were automated when we were under assault by the technocratic conclave present here in the city. The previous headmaster took steps that he did not inform the rest of us as to the scope or scale of them, but he has leashed much of what we have here to a large and potent set of old magics existing in the city. Still trying to disentangle what that exactly means. Julian left no explanation, left no signs, left no guides to that. I do know that at this point, until we have a sense of the balance of things, it is dangerous for us to pull on too many threads. But I and December will be working on that to get things stabilized. I hope that you will bear with us in the meantime.
Are you sure you wouldn't need any assistance? You're almost a decade out of time, and this whole lot is just fraying at the edges. Nothing is fitting in right, and if you want this to go smoother, we do come from now, and we know a lot about now. I know much about now, just an insane amount about now. I'd be very good at helping you figure out how to fit the then into the now hole.
Here, take a look at it. And she has that look that you've gotten when you talk to a master who's been training for decades. When you start talking, kind of rambling, and she looks at you and she says, I may need to call upon your assistance, but I would ask that you not tinker with the mechanisms of the defenses until we have ascertained what the implications are. So, yes, the other question is this, and she looks at Clay, she looks at Tyler, kind of carefully meets all of your eyes. In the last days, when it was close to the end, when we were evacuating students and so on, a hit mark made its way in, got past the defenses. The technocrats had invested quite a bit into the magic of that hit mark. It took out a number of us, and it turned aside what we could do, and it required the sacrifice of one of our senior mages to reprogram it, as you have seen.
That's very impressive. I've never heard of anyone being able to do that.
Neither had I, but it cost her her life in doing it.
And now you keep it amongst you.
I do not wish to let it loose. Neither do I have confidence in our ability to destroy it, given it is not a simple hit mark. It is able to do magics Not great magics, but enough. And it is convinced that it is of the order of Hermes.
How strong does this programming seem?
Very, very strong, save that Thursday maintains a certain degree of absolutism and such, which is something we try to keep in mind. The one thing is it has a significant obedience to authority, and that is to our advantage.
The one outside, I think that it's not able to connect back with its home node. I don't know if that's a matter of the time issue or the distance, though distance seems unlikely to me. Could be incompatible technology, though, at this point.
And she'll turn to you, Silas, and she will say, that may be the place where you may be of the greatest service to us, is figuring out that.
Be a magic IT guy?
If you wish to put it in such a way, I would not diminish your skills by saying that. What I would say is that we do not have time specialists among the staff who can ascertain what is happening outside and why the hit mark is doing what it is out there. But we don't know what the situation is with mages in the city. We don't know what the situation is with the technocracy in the city. If we've returned, right now we are blind to what is happening outside. And you three are the ones who have the best perspective on that.
We feel like, though, you'll be here in this particular city. You're not falling back to wherever it you came from.
I think that we were from Madding originally, and
Oh,
yes, this was where the battle took place.
is that company still here, Lowell? Did I see it on the tree at the where we saw the? Remember when we went into town, the techie tree with all the companies?
No, you didn't see it there.
Huh. It's possible that the techs have already pulled up stakes, especially if you took the candy that they were here to look for.
I have to ask for your help, you three, because I need my people here who have familiar with the building to work to this. Fabrizio, of course, you can, help them out if you need to. But we need to put our energies to this, and I don't know, we don't have the people or the resources to ascertain the situation in a larger city. I can offer you laboratory space, and access to ready quintessence, money. These are all things that I can offer to you.
Clay, Silas, both of y'all have, didn't the trads send your stuff here?
I've got lab equipment, but some hard magic would be. It's always helpful to fuel things.
I'm never one to pass up free money.
All right, then it sounds like we'll go and do the reconnaissance here of the town and let you get at it if everybody's all right with that. Looking at the other two.
Sure. And you can definitely feel, by the way, those of you who have sense life and so on, as you are there, that how do I put this? Of the people who are there, March seems like she's solid together. Fabrizio seems like he's there. It does seem to you like you, with your sense, you can definitely sense that there is something very, very wrong with June. But March will say, well, I'm going to take some of these tamales up to the others and head out. And Fabrizio, you will assist them. And we will attempt to keep Thursday occupied. I don't particularly want him engaged in the hit mark out there or anything like that. But
at the moment, it's changed form. It's presenting as I believe, a homeless person. Be aware. And I think it's fair to say that we will be getting in touch with the traditions to let them know the status that's going on here. They may be able to send you some help. Though, honestly, I think we're your help.
Then and she turns to all three of you and says, then I am in your hands.
Well, more the pity you.
And June kind of leans forward. She says, I'm sorry about the hat rack.
I'm sorry it was in the wrong place.
And she'll stand up, and March will stand up, and they'll head out. And Fabrizio's like, that went well. Let's take our break, and then we'll come back.
What you think of the game so far, Lowell? The mechanics? You are muted, my dear.
It has the advantage and the disadvantage of being a very literalist adaptation of Mage, which I'm torn on that. Like, when I originally did my hacks of changing the Lost, very literalist, and it got better once I kind of let go. But I don't know. I'm still trying to adjust. Now, mind you, keep in mind, I never really played Mage. I'd only kind of read it, and I had a Mage in one of the like vampire Mage, blah, 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 blah games that I ran. But it was very, very secondary. So I don't know how much it is echoing the feeling of casting spells from the original Mage or not.
I think Patrick can speak to that, but I think it's doing a pretty good job of that. What do you think, Patrick?
Yeah, I think the way that you build spells is it's very Mage. I'm curious to see how the paradox end of it goes off, because sort of the problem with paradox in the old system is like it didn't have a lot of good mechanical teeth or like good justifications or reasons for the GM to bring it in.
Mm-hmm.
And so having something that like forces it to the foreground is something I'd really like to see.
I think that insights thing is interesting too. I would love for us to see that get put into play too.
Well,
I think
yeah,
that's
keep in mind the insights are a thing that you can call on to use to give yourself that bonus, to give yourself advantage. Oh no, yeah, it's advantage, I believe.
And we pick them up along the way too by doing stuff, right?
Yeah, 10 plus on certain things can get you more insights that you can add.
Interesting.
The thing is, it says about insights. Modifier, special systems, insights. Oh, so insights can be spent to give yourself +1 to a roll, force an NPC to fault or freeze, force an NPC to act at disadvantage, do extra harm. Spend an insight, describe how you're taking advantage of it. And there are certain things that allow you to gain insights.
That's cool because we have insights on each other that we can use in positive ways if we decide to call on them, right?
Yeah. Like, for example, a 10 plus on the Have an Epiphany allows you to gain an insight that you can use.
That's neat.
So let's take up with a question actually that David had put to us. One of the other ways you get XP is you highlight a stat, and if you use that stat during the game, you get an extra XP for that. Not my favorite mechanic from Apocalypse World, but it is a thing. So let's go through. Dr. Malachi, what stat do you wish to highlight?
What stat do I wish to highlight?
And there are check boxes by them for this.
Oh, look at that. I think it should be something not my big good one. Let's go with pattern.
Okay. And pattern is the one that governs make something useful, stand your ground, and exploit a system.
Yeah.
And then Clay, what do you want to highlight for your stat?
Let's see. I feel like dynamic, looking at the basic moves, would be interesting.
Yeah. So mark that. And then Silas, what about for you?
Same actually. I thought the dynamic set looked interesting.
Excellent. So we take up June and March and the other members, December and Thursday who you've met with. Really haven't interacted with August that much, but those people have headed off. Fabrizio has stayed here with you, and we can kind of deal with the immediate aftermath, or we can move forward a little bit if you would like. At least we should do a convo between the three of you right now, sort of after that. Does that seem okay? So we take up with the meeting. It is, again, a kind of fancy teacher's lounge, old school, very well laid out. There's still more food there put out by the servants and Dr. Malachi.
I do like a tamale. Well, first things first. I've got bars. Let me at least call in and check with the trads. What do you think?
I think we're definitely going to have to do something about the building. Yeah, I don't care what they say. It's got a horrible case of time rash this entire block, and it's just not going to go well for anything.
Clay?
Well, that sounds pretty bad. When I was wandering about, I also noticed some kind of fancy brazier that kind of showed me some various people possibly being awakened, and, well, seemed to get someone's attention too, so.
You found a magic spy bra?
Please go into a little more depth of this.
They're all magic, sir, first of all. Secondly, well, and I think I'll just describe that whole thing, basically.
Okay.
Like, in the flames, there was, 7 different people that were maybe getting awakened. And then a presence looked back at him.
Brazier.
And Fabrizio, it's just the three of us, right?
You tell me if Fabrizio would go and do some things, unless you wanted to have him there present.
I would like for us to have a quiet moment,
Okay.
if that's cool with everybody else.
Well, I'm going to go finish up some things and maybe find my top hat and look around. Now I will be back. All right. And he heads off.
Clay, if they're able to actually awaken people, that's practically the Holy Grail.
I didn't think of that. I almost thought they were spying on people that were being awakened, but if they're doing the awakening, that does sound pretty significant.
I can see why the text wanted it. It changes the whole balance of the war. If we can just make more of us. Huh. Yeah, I think the traditions are going to be very interested with their research here. I understand your point, Silas. We can't ignore this place. But we might be well advised to get a little distance, see what resources we have outside of the place.
Hey, how sure are we that no one's going to shoot at us if we try and leave? From either side, but mostly the outside.
Right now, I have the hit that's here, sitting in standby. From what I could tell, whatever controlled it, it's not able to connect with. I don't know how long that'll last, I admit. But it's been 9 years. I imagine the techs have already moved out, or if they're not moved out, they probably don't have the full facility. We need to find out about that, because, hell, if they make an assault to take this place right now, it can't defend itself, can it?
Well, I mean, it has a really nasty glare.
What'd it do to you?
it was really mean. And it felt like it didn't like me, and I don't like being places that don't like me, because most places are generally just places and don't have emotions about me.
No. We know that the place is all tied up in this thing they've connected it to. Silas, do you feel like you have to stay here?
I don't have to stay here. It feels like crazy people are angry at me.
Are you willing to at least have us go and take a look outside first? Or do you want to stick around and play? If you're willing, we can go explore outside real quick.
Sounds fine to me.
What you
I
think,
will miss
Silas?
Fabrizio, though.
Well,
And just makes a pout face.
we can wait till the morning if you'd rather.
Oh, I'm just kidding. We can go whenever.
Silas, you want to stay or you want to go?
I know some mages in the area. Maybe I can give a call around and see if I can get a couple people on site to at least, look at it here for the outside. Maybe someone been here before. School's been here for a long time. Intermittently.
I'm telling you, these folks seem a little wonky to me. I think, I'll be honest with you guys, we very well may have to save their bacon. I'm not entirely sure that they're going to be able to do it on their own.
Well, it makes sense. They've been sort of running in constant no-sleep standby mode for a decade, so that's not great.
It's true.
And I will say, atomizing that last visitor still doesn't sit right with me.
I kept trying to talk to the building and have it explain itself, but people got very antsy whenever I moved a picture.
So you all can head out, and when the three of you go outside, you will see that homeless man standing in the corner, like he's an extra in a John Carpenter film. You'll call, and your limo driver will drive up. You can see the black permanent marker on the roof of the limo, where Silas has done his calculations. You can pile into the limo, and your driver's like, "Where to, sir?"
Clay, yours first, or let's go to Clay's. I always like going there.
And he'll type in your business into the little GPS, and you can see it comes up. They've moved your business here to Matting. And so you'll drive. So let me ask you this, Clay. The kind of neighborhood I imagine that your place is in is probably a little more artsy neighborhood for a city. Would you imagine that? Or what other kind of neighborhood would you think you would be in?
Let's see. I think more like a downtown kind of area.
Okay. Is it like a closed off block, so it's a full walk block, or is there actually like traffic through it?
Yeah, probably not. Probably kind of off the beaten track, and maybe like a freestanding building specifically for this reason.
Okay.
Like just in case it needs to transport.
Sure. So as if what's like the thing? Because this is the first time you've seen it in this location. What's the thing that's nearby that you're like, that's going to be cool to have close by?
Oh yeah, would be good for like a bookstore thing. Oh, maybe there's just like because this is more of like an alternative bookstore, so maybe it's like on the corner of this street or whatever. There's like looks like there's this almost like a dive bar or something. He's like, oh, this will be good. All the kids will come here and then stumble into my bookstore.
Absolutely. They'll kind of walk down because you can be open late hours. They'll come in and hang out. And the ones that can't get in because they got carded will, kind of wander down here and accumulate. Malachi, what's another shop or business or feature of this neighborhood that they've relocated Clay's alternate bookstore into?
I think that it used to, this, since it's fairly artsy feel to it a little bit, I think that there was an old movie theater here, but, probably, 20s, 30s old movie house type thing.
Oh, nice.
But now it's been converted into a bar where they still have the screen and the big, so they're showing, sometimes they show lovely, nice films. Sometimes it's industrial night and it's the horrible, terrible things that are up on the screen. But it's now this club they converted it into.
Absolutely. So again, nice dive bar. We've got a club, got an alternate bookstore. Silas, what is the logo for Convergent Dynamics?
I think it's a very angular robotic text, but it has all sorts of circuitry running through it, and the letters sort of bleed into one another.
Yeah, as you coming up, you will see one of those, not full roadside signs, but like half signs that they do in towns, to advertise. And one of those ones where it flips through the different things, the little slats on it change, and it's a different board. And just as you're coming up, you'll see that Convergent Dynamics logo, that sign. And their catchphrase is someday something we do will touch you, and then it goes and it's like a advertisement to a dentist who does full knockout treatments, and then it'll go through another one, and then it'll be back to that Convergent Dynamics thing. And you can park the limo in this area and wander in. What is the name of your bookstore again, Clay?
Red for Myth. That's what it is.
Red for Myth. And you come in and you definitely have the sense that your staff have also been they live here now, and they remember always living here now, and they remember working here, and that's in there hey, hey, Mr. Charles.
Oh, and how are you doing in your entire life in Reading?
Fine. Kind of looked at because business has been okay today. Not too much, but we had some foot traffic in. We got the a new delivered from the distributors. I went through the inventory. I shelved everything. I put it all in the system. So there were some special orders. So I wrapped those up and I called the people who ordered them, and otherwise it's been okay.
Well, that's good to hear.
Oh, we did have a shoplifter in earlier today, but caught them.
They took something good, hopefully.
They were, what they do, they go down in the basement and they piece through things, and they slip something in the back, but one of the other guys spotted them and kind of grabbed onto him. We were just going to give him a talking to, but he was really slippery. And while he dropped the stuff he was taking, he got away. He told us not to necessarily call the cops on shoplifters, so we were just going to kind of maybe talk and see what was up with him. And but he got away before we could even get a chance to do that.
Oh, well, that was unfortunate. I would at least want him to read whatever was so important. Was there anything in particular?
And he points to a basket, like stuff to be reshelved.
Yeah, was it anything of note or?
Oh yeah, it's very much the, like, here's the Aleister Crowley book, and here's the Real Magic book by Bonavets, and a couple other ones of like all of the, I wonder what magic's really about kind of books that he tried to shoplift.
Oh, nice. Yeah. So Clay will leaf through these just like if you see him back, don't turn him away.
Okay.
Let him know that he can have these for free if he just has a conversation.
Okay, I'll keep my eye on. I don't know if he'll come back or not, but I'll we'll do that.
Let's just say, Daniel, you are too gruff with these kids. Just calm down.
I'm just not used to, where when I was at Barnes and Noble, if we had a shoplifter, then we anyway. But yeah, okay, you're the boss.
Oh, please. These books were all bought with my personal glorious fortune. It's not going to be a big deal if they go missing, especially if they go missing into the right hands.
Okay. Silas, what's your thoughts here, or what are you doing? You said you were maybe going to call some people.
Yeah, so I have that connected background with the I know a guy condition as a permanent thing.
Absolutely.
So I figure maybe like I know someone, traditions occultist in the area, who, I'm calling him out to help me look at the time stuff and Angry Building. But I think more what I'm interested in finding out from him is like an outsider perspective on this chantry, like a history of this chantry in this area, that sort of thing.
Yeah, so there's nobody in Matting that you can call, but you can certainly call somebody from Boston.
Okay.
And what's this guy's specialty? Are you talking to the person with a specialty in time?
Yeah, and more a focus on correspondence, broader effects. Like all of my time magic is very small and personal. I need someone who's good at large scale workings.
Give me a name.
Viridian.
Viridian. Oh yeah, hey, how's it going there with that thing?
Oh, well, it's the thing. Do you know about the thing?
I heard you guys got sent somewhere where some people went missing.
Yeah, no, not just some people, like a whole block, like a whole magic school block, and like magic school teachers and a student in an angry building and very angry robot man.
Oh, back it up there, Turning. What are you talking about?
Like Harry Potter, the boy living under the sea. You're a thumping good one too. Yeah, that whole thing.
Oh, okay. So what does that have to do with the people that went missing? The guys you were sent to find?
Oh, right. Yes. He is super. I mean, just way so unbelievably dead. But no, it was this school that had just gone into hiding mode, some sort of defensive system, looping slightly outside of time or just to the left of time, something like that. It's been doing that for about a decade, or I don't know, a confusing weekend holiday for them. But now it's back, and I think the fractures between real space and real time and Strange Horizon Realm are throwing some people off, and there might be a semi-sentient, very angry defense system that keeps eating people. And did I mention the killer robot men?
You sort of buried the lead there, I think, maybe, Bucko. But
the ancient time magic dragon human-eating machine.
Dragon? Wait, you didn't say dragon before.
Well, I didn't see the dragon, and my other companions seemed dubious on the idea of dragon, but you don't name something a dragon engine unless there's a dragon involved at some point.
Oh, wow. I've never heard of anything like that.
Have you heard of the school?
Where are you at again?
I'm here in Matting at an address.
God, there's no magic school in Matting.
What well, I mean, obviously they've been gone for a while, but like a decade or so ago?
No, I don't think there's ever been anything in Matting.
They're pretty sure that they've been here for a long time.
Well, not anything I've ever heard of. The only magic school I know on the East Coast is in Jacksonville.
Why?
It's a long story.
Okay, never mind. No, they seemed pretty sincere. They've been operating in the area for a long time. They, have students, taught them how to magic with magic, probably by drawing a triangle or something. The Hermetics, that's what they do. Everything's triangles.
Geez, I don't think so. Not in Massachusetts. Nothing big like that. The static facilities around here and the cities have been blasted away by the technocracy before the war and even since then.
They mentioned some troubles leading up to. They don't know anything. They were sort of looping when the war happened, but they did mention some troubles with the technocracy that may have been what set off their defensive systems in the first place.
That's the problem is, nobody really remembers what happened during the war.
Well, look, can you just come out here and look over this place with me? I mean, if nothing else, it's like 5 stories of Lincoln logs, and that's worth seeing, right?
Once again, you're adding in details that you didn't give me the first time. Where did the Lincoln logs come in?
Well, that's what the walls look at. I mean, like big log, more of a, I don't know, like a log cabin sort of thing, but a log skyscraper.
That doesn't seem particularly subtle.
Well, I don't know. You sort of forget about it against the carnivorous astroturf.
I'm gonna have you stop talking to me, and I'm just gonna drive on up there. Give me an address to meet you at, not the place, but maybe someplace off site.
Oh, okay. I think maybe there's a diner down the street.
Okay. Yeah. Oh, Denny's. Okay.
Yeah. Oh, and just when you get in the area, and this is not a general rule. I'm not a mean person. I'm not a greedy person. I don't want you to think that I am a mean or greedy person. But you just stay the fuck away from homeless people, okay?
I'm not gonna ask. I'm just not going to. Just not gonna. I think we're just gonna stop talking, and I'll see you in a bit.
Yeah. All right.
Okay. Dr. Malachi, what are you up to?
I think I'm reporting in to home office.
It's a school?
Yeah. They seem to have been teaching. They talked about for the chorus. They talked about for order. They seemed to have the feeling they were quite important. Watchtower of the East. Ring any bells?
No, that's not anything I've ever heard of.
Can you get in touch with... I mean, that's what they're telling us. I was assuming they would be recognizable.
I'll reach out and see if I can talk to one of the surviving Hermetic Masters.
Yeah, I guess it could have been lost in the years. You may know more about this than me.
Mm-hmm.
Is it possible that they may not be from our time? Can something get brought from a different reality?
There are an infinite number of possible things, but when things come in from outside, it's generally the world. It doesn't quite accept that. So generally, you can feel that it isn't from our place. Is that the sense you're getting?
Is that the sense I'm getting? Whoa.
No, I don't think so.
No. Okay.
Yes,
No.
no. What you're saying, it sounds to me. And he stops and he goes, it sounds to me like they got rode out.
In the forgetting.
This is the first. I've never heard of anything like this. But it scares me that it's a lot like the forgetting.
This thing they've got underneath that place, what they're tapping into, it's scary.
Well, see what you can find out about it. I will speak with the other hermetics and see what I can uncover, but you know how they are.
I can tell you, they've converted a mark. And see if you can figure out anything about this, whatever the company is, the
Convergent Dynamics?
Yeah. See if you know anything about them. They should have had a big presence in this town.
Oh, they do. Oh, yeah. I'm looking at their website right now.
So they're still here.
I mean, still here. Yeah, they've always been there, it looks like.
Well, if I was able to yank that mark, the bad one as compared to the good one, if I yanked it and they're still there, then for some reason they're no longer compatible. It was lost. It was not getting a connection back to hub.
I don't know, they're a big company in Madding. They're big civil boosters. They're on the sign coming into town.
All right. Well, I'll try and take a look at it. See if I smell anything techie about it.
Okay. Be careful.
We will. I'll report back as soon as I hear anything.
And Clay, what do you want to do while you're here in town? Now you got your business set up, lovely neighborhood.
Yeah, I think I might try to utilize this. Yeah, I don't know if it totally relates, but
Sure.
I guess if I use this library, I get to gain prep, I guess, which is like a +1 for later use.
Yeah, absolutely.
So yeah, I don't know if I'd have any books in particular that would help with this, but okay, so maybe I kind of described it also as kind of a network of like with the shoplifter pretty well illustrated, like like lost youth and such, or questioning youth maybe. So I think I'm going to try to spend some time reading up on the history of Madding, but in particular kind of looking to see if I can find these 7 faces that I saw in the fire, to see if these people might be in this vicinity, or like, yeah, I guess more on that perhaps.
Sure. Let's say you can find one of them in one of the papers here.
Oh yeah, perfect.
Yeah. Who is it? Male, female, old, young? I think we said they were all youthful, so.
Yeah. Oh, so maybe it's just like a younger lady, maybe college age too.
You will be flipping through and you will see her picture, and you see she's like a boy and a girl, and it's like the local WMAD student athlete of the week thing, and you see her picture there, and that she gets a $100 scholarship from Burger King for being the student athlete of the week. That kind of local cheesy thing. And let's give her a name. We will call her that's good. Yumi Taga. Yeah, I knew, like, that's definitely her. And this is a thing from last week. What was the thing you saw in your mind when you got that sort of vision of her?
Let's see. So if she's an athlete, maybe it was just like a standard like warm up thing.
Yeah, that kind of like at a track, other people in the back doing the kind of the stretches clearly, and you kind of think about it, and there's probably a UMass matting around here, and maybe some private schools, but you probably think it's probably that campus kind of thing.
Yeah. Perfect.
Yeah,
so
you definitely get that's definitely the woman that you saw.
So yeah, I think I'm going to have to talk to her to see how if she's an awakened or why she was being spied on or what's going on here.
Well, let's bring the group back together to chat then. Silas,
Yeah.
Clay. So what is the space that you have in the shop that is your own? That is your like, do you have a living space here? Do you have just a place you hang out? What do you think that is, Clay?
For our meeting, I think especially it would be interesting if there's like one of these like I've seen this at like every coffee shop kind of thing, but like a big round table, know.
Yeah.
But it's very low, so your knees won't even go under this table, and everyone kind of like leans in, and it's like we're doing poetry readings here or something.
Super awkward to sit at. Absolutely.
Yeah, exactly.
It's got one of those things where it's got like a chalkboard built into the middle of it, so you can draw chalk on it and stuff.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So that's where we come in to see you three seated and can chat.
Yeah, I think I probably kind of hiked my hiney on the table itself, and I'm sitting up a bit. I talked back home. They're willing to give whatever help they're able, let us know, and they didn't seem to be able to help us much. They're looking into some stuff.
Well, here's my surprise face.
I managed to get a hold of Viridian. He's living in Boston now, but he should be in town in a couple of hours. He seemed very interested in what was going on at the school, and also had never heard of the school and was quite sure that there wasn't a school there.
The trads hadn't heard of the school either, which is odd.
I mean, they say they've been here for a long time, right?
Yeah, and I have a couple of thoughts on that. Maybe whatever defenses it had was able to pull it out of people's memory. That's certainly possible. Or maybe it was lost in the forgetting during the war.
Maybe. If it is part of the defensive system, then finally getting the dragon engine or whatever to stand down might bring knowledge of them back.
Maybe. The techs are still here, at least the company is still here. I think I may try and go take a look at them. Clay, what have you figured?
Well, I found this one of the figures that I saw in the that fire. She's I guess a local athlete. I was going to try to get to the bottom of that.
Seems a good idea. I've made arrangements. I've rented one of the nicer houses. You both have places to stay?
Didn't you just say you rented a very nice house in the area?
Yes, Silas, of course.
Then yes.
Good. Clay?
Well, a slumber party sounds very fun, but I can stay here if you'd like.
Well, I made sure it was big enough for us all. It has a pool.
Ooh, nice. Does it have any floaty things? Are we going to have to buy the floaty things? I don't want to blow up floaty things.
I'll have someone send over floaty things.
Nice. Okay, can we circle back to the part where you're going to go inside the technocracy? Because that seems like
No. I was going to go and take a look and investigate the area, see what I can find out. That does not mean I plan to go into a technocracy, no.
You're just going to go poke around the place where they're sending the killer death robots at us from.
Well, first I'm going to see if I can get some lawyers and accountants and people that do this professionally to tell me a little bit about the place. And then
Robot fighting lawyers?
They are cutthroat, Silas, my friend. And then maybe do a little perimeter walk. If anybody wants to join me, feel free.
Sounds
See
like
if I
something that
get
would be
lucky.
unwise to do alone. I'd be more than help.
Meridian should be showing up soon. We could turn it into a whole party.
You could. Yeah, well, it's worth finding them out.
Sounds like a plan.
Yeah.
Okay.
Dr. Malachi too. So they said it was Copernicus, right? I know a little bit about history, but was that revealed to be a wizard or some kind of thing? Do you know any of the history of that?
The eternal game of the traditions. Was X historical figure a wizard?
Yeah, I don't know if I know that, but my guess off of this is, now this is me personally guessing, I don't think that's actually Copernicus. I hope not. If so, that's a majorly powerful tech.
Oh well, sure, but taking the name seems like a purposeful effort.
Yeah. That
My
might
guess would be on the other side.
Really? Anybody feel capable of looking into that? I'm not sure how best I could.
I can poke around. I'm sure I have one or two books on that.
Yeah, let's see if that gives us something. Yeah.
So let's start with you, Tyler. Let's kind of do a once around on what you're looking into. So how do you want to approach this?
I'm getting in touch with, it is calling up some people through my accountants and lawyers to find out what we could find about this company. Very mundane end of it, pretty much.
Absolutely. Do you think this is you? Do you want this as have an epiphany, or do you think this is exploit a system?
I think it's exploit a system. I sure would love for it to be that.
Yeah, let's have you roll pattern.
All right, I get an XP. So
Maybe you'll get another XP here in a moment.
Yeah, it's highly likely. So I'm rolling with +0, and if it doesn't change, I got a 7.
All right. So on a 7 to 9, you achieve your goal and you choose one from the 10 plus list. You do it in a timely fashion. You get everything after. You carry +1 forward. The storm abates. Storm abates, we think, believes it actually removes one from the storm.
Yeah. Okay. How about... I don't know if I think that time is exactly of the essence on this, so I think I'm going to get everything I'm after.
Okay. You'll get a rundown on this local tech, a long-running tech company present in Matting. Big civic booster called, a Convergent Dynamics. It's been in the city since the 1970s, and it kind of helped usher a rebirth of matting back in the early 70s. And
What do they do?
They're a tech company. They do tech stuff. They do apps, and they build things and stuff, and there's some 3D printing stuff and things. The website is incredibly generic about cutting edge, that's we light up your life, and all
people
of the
on beaches and
yeah. It's all the commercials. It's all the like video commercials from Better Off Ted that we see there throughout it.
Do I see any weirdnesses that happened in?
Oh yes,
2011?
You will well know. This is what you will realize is when you see photos of like where they're located downtown and stuff. They weren't there when you came into town.
What?
Like you're like looking at a block and you're like, we drove down past that. That's the main drag. That building wasn't there when we drove into town. And you like look at the sign, like they have the thing where they have the sign coming into town that I mentioned before, and now there definitely is a home of Convergent Dynamics. Sponsors of the local minor league baseball team, the Matting Dynamos.
If there's enough time for me to do this,
well, no, because you didn't take a timely fashion.
Okay, then as I get this information, I will let everyone know, but I will kind of put a pin in, hey, Silas, this seems odd. Since if any of us could do something with that, it'd be him.
Let's go to Silas then. What are you looking into before you hear about that?
Well, hopefully my friend's showing up, and
I
can take him to see the 50-foot-tall log cabin with carnivorous astroturf and dangerous hobos.
And he's like, well, so that you say that's their defense system?
Yeah, I don't think it's very smart
Yeah.
or has been updated recently.
They'd better get that turned off, that illusion turned off soon, because I can feel the paradox building up around here. I mean, they've clearly got some magics that are changing what people see, but that ought to be job number one as their thing is get that illusion taken down. So
look, I tried to rearrange the furniture, but they got really angry.
Is that a euphemism?
What? Angry? No.
No, you rearrange the furniture. What do you mean?
The furniture. I moved it to better places. It was in bad places. They said the same thing.
So now I understand. It's just that the feng shui thing is not my work kit.
Okay, that's not what it is, but sure, let's go with that.
It says what I can do is it looks like there's a bunch of different spells and spell matrices working around in here. I can try to isolate what is doing that illusion, so maybe they can manipulate that. What do you think?
No, that sounds good. I can take you in and introduce you to them. They're really unpleasant.
Well, then maybe you let me figure it out first, and then we can go in when we have something in hand, and when we can be unpleasant back to them.
Okay, okay. And just I to be if you're going to be looking around the area, some things to keep an eye
Mhm.
out for. There's a really delightful Denny's down the street.
Yeah,
There's a
yeah. That's
bar
what we
down that
meant.
way, and
Okay.
yep. A used bookstore. Friend Clay would really appreciate it if you stop by there. And the homeless person over there is the hit mark that's sitting out and watching the whole campus.
Say what now?
Oh no, it's Malachi has him turned off or deactivated or in screensaver mode, something.
Malachi. Now remind me, is it Malachi the one with the scar on his face from a hit mark?
Yeah, no, yeah, he rubs it a lot.
Has he been rubbing it a lot recently?
Weirdly, yes. It probably has something to do with the hit mark they have working as a teacher inside the school.
So what I'll do is I'll figure out the illusion stuff and then I'll write it down for you and then you can take it into them and I will not go in there. How does that sound?
I mean, I feel like you could be slightly more accommodating, but if that's where we are, I suppose that's where we are.
I was accommodating up until you said the hit mark that they have on staff as Hagrid.
Look, I was not a part of the hiring decision. And thus far,
I
they haven't
didn't
even
say you
taken my
were.
decoration points into consideration.
I just look, I'm better when I do something. Let me go and work on this and then I'll get back to you.
Sure.
Okay,
yeah.
then?
Yeah, you have my number. I'm just going to go. I think we're breaking into Technocracy headquarters in the area, something. I'm not sure.
See, every time you talk, it just I feel like the hole is getting deeper.
All right, well, call me.
Not if I call you. Clay, what are you up to? Not company presence.
Yeah, I think Clay is going to try to look at these are more of the wheelhouse of the occult books in the basement here.
Sure.
Of figuring out if Copernicus, like the historical one, was how he was related to the or if he was related to these wizard shenanigans.
Sure. Let's have you roll an epiphany.
Yeah, okay. That makes sense.
And essentially with your library, we'll give you you'll get more information.
That is a dynamic. Oh, I get an XP for this one.
That's why I'm pushing
I
you
picked
to the
that
move.
thinking it was I was going to manipulate somebody, but oh no, Snake Eyes. Oh boy.
Snake Eyes. So
wait. Oh, hold on. It
changed?
It changed. Hold on.
Yay!
That man, again, a roller coaster. 6. It's still a 6 though. So
Still a 6.
Not quite as bad, but still bad.
The good news is you get to mark XP because you rolled dynamic, and you get to mark XP because you failed. So number one, I think you will realize that the names of famous rationalist scientists like Copernicus, like Galileo, like Kepler, those are real classic technocracy nom de plumes. Like they will take those up. And I think that you will look through and you will find out that the CEO of Convergent Dynamics is a guy named Copernicus Dusk. And you are looking, do you imagine, are you looking at a book? Or are you looking at this online? What are your resources to kind of find this out? Are you cross-referencing between your older tomes and newer things?
Yeah, I might be looking at the older stuff, but also online because I assume I wouldn't have anything that would current CEOs or anything.
Yeah.
So yeah, that particular thing might be online for sure.
So in that case, then set. That and so you will see I've got his picture there in the bottom row of the NPCs. And you get that thing where you see the picture of the CEO and he doesn't have a Steve Jobs turtleneck thing, but he's got this kind of cable knit thing. And they're kind of looking at that picture, and that picture blinks.
Oh, nice.
And you get that same feeling of presence. And the picture says, "Who are you? You're not with the Crucible."
Yeah, I think Clay, similar to what happened last time, just like instinctually, like, oh God, and probably stands up and like almost runs away for a second, and then comes back and just like, oh, no, sorry, I'm not. I mean, they seem very nice.
Well then, why don't I welcome you to matting? And that's when your computer explodes. Like goes up in flames. What do you do?
Yeah, okay, so I'm picturing this is like I assume there's like this bookstore is like there's a big like main store and then like a basement kind of thing.
Yeah.
So I'm thinking this was in the basement. So he like runs upstairs to get like a fire extinguisher or something. Okay. Because he's like so many books.
Yeah, and you kind of run over, get the fire extinguisher. You'll spray that down there, and you when it's finally sprayed down, you can see that the computer and the monitor is just sort of hollowed out, and there's kind of scorch and that smell of burnt electrical and plastic down in here that takes a while to get out of here. And you got a very bad feeling right now.
Mm-hmm.
Does that seem fair?
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay.
And to be clear, it felt, or yeah, maybe this
that
is
was the same
thing, like,
person who.
Gotcha. Okay.
Yeah, definitely that same person who was reaching through that thing before.
Okay, gotcha. That's what I was thinking.
So I think we should probably have a convo of the three of you before we move on to the next step, huh? When you arrive back at Clay's bookstore, they've actually got the close sign up, and when you come in, there's that smell of having been a fire.
Everything all right, Clay?
Sorry, I was looking at that. I was saving that link for later.
Okay.
Yeah, he's like, well, they've certainly been better. There was a small fire as someone looked in on me while I was searching them. Never could have happened at Pornhub, but no. Happens when I'm looking this guy up. Seems to be a Copernicus himself.
Someone on your computer on Pornhub set your store on fire?
No, honey, I wish it were, but in fact it was Copernicus, and now he knows we're looking for us and tried to set my bookstore on fire.
So he saw you through the computer.
It seems so, yes.
Did you at least find out who he is?
Well, someone who can set my computer on fire for one. Secondly, seems like not a good person. In fact, something very familiar. It seemed like he was the person looking, or that noticed me looking at the whatever contraption they were using at the Crucible as well.
With the
He
burning
thought,
bra.
in fact, that oh, sorry.
The burning bra.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, the feminist icon himself, but he was seems to have I don't know, doesn't like to be looked at, I guess.
Well, Silas,
Hmm?
is there a way we can make sure, did he know where this was, or did he just try to set the computer on fire where you were? Silas, are you able to look at time thingies? I don't know. You're a dream speaker, right?
No. And time thingies don't generally set buildings on fire?
What are you, cold?
Yes.
Oh, it's still timey.
But I love that you said dream speaker. I think that's absolutely what you said. You're like a dream speaker or Verbena or something touchy-feely.
One of those traditions.
So you're not able to see what happened at the moment?
Well, I mean, I could potentially look back and see what happened, but Clay seems not to have been happy with what happened when he looked at him.
We don't need to look at him. We just need to see if he saw Clay and where he was at, or if he just sent shit back where Clay was. Because if he knows where we are now, we're in horrible, horrible danger.
Well, then let's just go forward assuming that one.
All right. I found out that the company, more than likely, well, we drove by their headquarters on our way in.
Didn't see
You
headquarters.
didn't notice it. Yeah, headquarters, big building, whole compound. You know why you didn't notice? It wasn't there when we drove by it.
That makes sense.
They've made a construct since we got here, and it dates all the way back to the 70s.
Okay, so this whole town is just going to shake itself out of normal time, is what you're saying.
Yeah. And Clay, if you're right, that's probably because they have some sort of hook in this machine underneath the place.
With the dragon engine?
If it feels the same. Then, well, how do you want to progress from here?
Well, that's a great question. You know, the traditions we talked to said there wasn't going to be a lot of danger, but this thing blowing up in my face, I wasn't my favorite thing, but I almost feel that's kind of personal. You know, he thought we were involved with the Crucible too, of note, but seems like hopefully he might just be maybe has a vendetta against them, and I don't know, maybe we're not in as much danger as possible, or that we could be, but these aren't good portents either.
Oh, also Viridian's working on a whole, figuring out the spell thing, because he said something about the magical background static was building up to a massive citywide explosion of paradox or something like that. I don't know. He was sort of snippy.
Oh, well, take back what I just said about that danger not being as bad as we thought.
Well, we have a lot on our plate then. It seems like hopefully your friend will be able to ground out what's fixing to occur because of them arriving. We are well aware now that the technocracy both knows we're here and is active in the area. And I am not completely certain that this school... Man, I think they're fucking with things that they shouldn't be.
Like what? Dragons, time magic, massive memory alterations on a very broad scale?
Yeah. A little bit of all.
Yeah, that seems okay. Yeah, that's generally things that go boom in the night.
And you know, this Copernicus fellow was able to find me both here and within the school itself. So I think their defenses aren't maybe as good as they think they are either. And this, at least this one person, I was able to track down. This her name was Yumi Taga. Kind of interested to see why these people are so important. If they are awakened, is there a fight going on? I'm not sure.
Yeah, that seems a good line to follow.
I think that we'll kind of cut, and you kind of look up as you can. They've got like a television in the store, behind the counter and stuff, and we'll kind of cut back, and you can see, it's getting on evening, and your guy behind the counter has the news on, and you will see, the police tape and the like flashers, and you will see them doing this story about this person who was attacked and killed midday at a Starbucks, and you will see this picture flash up on the screen, Clay, and it's one of those seven.
Okay.
And their story is very vague, but clearly they were killed earlier today.
Yeah. So yeah, he's like, hold on. Not so much recruitment, but that was one of the other ones. We might be on a quicker clock than we thought too.
Shit, someone's trying to kill off the women's lib movement.
And on that note, I think we're gonna end the session. So you get 2 additional XP at the end of a session. That's the other, just for being you. On top of the highlighted stuff, and on top of the rolls for failures throughout the session. I have to say, it's really weird running this at the same time that I'm running Brindlewood Bay, because Brindlewood Bay has all of these resources for bumping your rolls and your results up. So that's always in the back of my mind here when I'm like, oh, well, they can do something. Oh, no, they can't. This is a different system. So, let's stop there. And if you don't mind, we can do a quick stars and wishes, maybe. Do you mind doing that for next time? We kind of got some plot into play, and I'd like to take a second. Hopefully we'll have Jesse back next time. Let me see, is there any other end of session stuff? I don't think so. Okay. So Tyler, can I start with you? Stars, wishes, thoughts?
Certainly. I leveled. So I'll get something. Stars. I'm gonna kind of star the game itself. I think there's some really neat things in this mechanic in this game. There's always the element of we're all brand new to it and we're feeling it out, but I think there's something really kind of cool about this game. So kind of kudos to the making of it. I adore both of your characters. I also love Jesse's character too.
Mm-hmm, yeah.
But I really, watching, I'm glad you're back, Patrick, and Silas is interesting and fun, and I always enjoy your sort of irascible the moments of no, I can't hear you, but you got to speak loud. Just lovely. I like the, well, you know, there's obviously something at the heart of this, and I'm going to the heart of this, which is kind of fun because it's inquisitive. And it plays kind of to your, you don't make exactly decisions, you know, you kind of vacillate on things by knowing more and more and more and more. So it's really like digging down rather than having some definitive thing you're doing. And I thought that was fun. I love Clay. Clay is so fun. David, you're doing such a lovely job with this character. I love every time you speak. I love you make such great phrases, and it's like you've already scripted out how you're going to talk, because it always comes across so natural and so just perfect in the moment. And I thought that the like investigative things you did and the questions you ask are always so insightful. You know, last time I made a point of you brought in something in a conversation that was just so spot on, and you continue to every moment just pop. They're always so good. Well, this is neat. This is fun. You're running the hell out of it. I like your NPCs. They're very interesting. And I also want to say I like how you're defining down how magic works, how you're using the system. I think that's very good. I love that moment with trying to connect with the hit mark, and there was a lot of tension there, and you did a great job with that. Wishes, I wouldn't mind a fight. I mean, I really wouldn't mind a fight, and even though it'll probably get me killed. But, and I also, you know, wishes, I want to see more of what's behind the curtain. Clearly something here is a whole levels upon levels of weird. And getting a couple of shifts back of the curtain so we begin to get an idea of it. I think that'll be something good to see. We got, what, 2 more? Yeah, so cool. And those are my stars and wishes.
Excellent. Thank you. And that's good input. I appreciate you saying that. David, stars, wishes?
Yeah, I'm loving all these characters too. They're super interesting. I love Silas is kind of almost like a absent-minded professor, kind of like, I don't know how to deal with people, but what is this thing happening? And definitely I thought it was hilarious that you like like focus in on, I can't pronounce brazier. I always do that wrong. And I'm like, yeah, that's awesome. Keep going. This is hilarious. I'm gonna keep making jokes about it, so it worked out perfectly. And let's see. This like especially here in the midpoint, like the mystery is so interesting. It's like a really well constructed one, because I have no idea what's going on. Like there's all these different forks that we could kind of go to that are all super interesting to me. And when I got to use my library was another cool thing. I'm like, yeah, awesome. Let's see.
I was glad we got to see your bookstore today. That made me happy. So
yeah, I was happy about that too. I was pretty happy with my pun I made up on the spot too. The read for myth thing. I'm like, yes. Let's see. Oh, wishes too. Let's see. I don't know if I can nail down a specific wish. I'm really liking where this is going. As the plot thickens and we get more and more dangerous. Yeah, a fight would be interesting, I guess. I'll echo or just copy you, Tyler. Why not?
I think that's fair, and we're definitely setting up for conflict here. So I think we can definitely get to a fight next time. Patrick, stars, wishes?
I'm glad I got to play, and I got to play around with the system fun. I'm liking it so far. definitely want to dig more into the basic moves, but I liked how the magic stuff worked tonight. I David, I love Clay. Like Tyler said, he's really fun to watch. I liked seeing you just like toy with Fabrizio, who was just like dangling off of your pinky. And I also liked getting to see the magic shop, the bookstore, and seeing some of how it worked. I got a very like Buffy vibe off of it. It's very cool. Malachi, I also enjoy, just because I don't know. I often fall into the role of like, oh, I have to point out reality to people. Fine, let's do this. And it's nice to pawn that off on you and see you struggle to be the responsible one while several of the rest of us are just sort of wandering around to whatever looks shiniest. I also like the weirdness and complexity and just like all the different sides that are crashing together into this slow rolling disaster. I really love the way
not so slow once you guys got to rolling.
I liked Viridian's characterization, and I liked bantering with him, and I really loved that moment of you like directing our attention to Copernicus's picture on the page, and then just talking about it blink. Like that was a good moment. That was a great moment that I could almost see happening. It was very, I like that. Let's see. Wishes. I don't know. I'm enjoying the thought of like crashing some more of these NPCs into each other. Everybody seems to be on slightly different sides, and everything seems to be on fire a little bit. So I want to get deeper into things, and I mean, we're going to have to fight one hit mark at some point, or like set up a situation where we're running from one until it fires at the other one, and then they destroy each other. I don't know. There's something there, but there's going to be a lot of bullets. We need a lot of bullets.
Awesome. Thank you so much. I had a great time running this. I love this. I'm enjoying seeing your characters play with things, and it's super fun for me. I was glad I was able to get some more NPC pictures out there, and I always enjoy that. So I will see everybody next week. If you're doing stuff for GCOG, I hope you have a great time. We'll talk with all of you later then. I'm going to stop the recording. Oh, before I'm going to stop it.